Hey everybody, Petey here. Early October. Love this weather. Fremont Guitar Company is where we're at, right in the heart of it. I love that. Anywho, I did a video not too long ago about this particular Triumph here, Epiphone Triumph, pre-war. It is a 1941, serial number 16217. It's a really beautiful guitar. It just needed a whole bunch of love, so I gave it all the love. Let's see, where should I start? Let's start with some things that are just stuck with the guitar. The tailpiece does have a crack, a couple cracks across the side, which is pretty standard. I talked to a guy who's a welder friend of mine who does crazy super fine TIG welding, and he said don't do it. It will just probably warp it too far. It's just the material that these are made of, and the gauge of it. It's just not a good idea. So I didn't go that route, and I really checked into it a lot. So what I did was run a little bit of epoxy across the inside of it to give it some strength. It was never fully broken. I just thought I would try to do something you couldn't see that would give it a little more love. So there's that. What else did I do? It kind of technically could have used I don't know if it could use a neck reset, but it was close. Not because it was coming out, just because of the angle of it all, over all these years. So instead, I messed with the bridge, which had already been monkeyed with a bit and shaped and some grooves put in it. So I thought, hey, no harm in doing a little more to it to avoid tearing the neck out of the guitar. So I shaped that a little bit differently and took some space off. You don't ever want to take anything off the bottom of the base. If you know, it has a serial number on it, so you don't ever want to get rid of that. But you can take things and do other stuff with the bridge to give yourself some space to now manipulate the action on the guitar, and that's what I did. So I got and this has enough space to go up or down wherever you want it, really, whatever your preference is. The pick guard was warped all crazy. I heated that up and flattened it out so it sits properly on the guitar now. Tons of finish problems on this guitar. It had just stuff just flaking and coming off everywhere. I did all kinds of little dabs and extra small things across the back, the sides, and the top, just to keep things from going any further. And a lot of little nicks and dings will go away if you treat them right. You can get them to melt back into the finish, and that goes away. There's a bare spot here. It was wood. I put a little lacquer on that just so that it's not bare wood and things eating into it. There's no need to try and fix it, it would just look ridiculous. So, and you'd have to mess around with what's all around it, which is really great, cool old check-in. I mean, it's beautiful. You don't want to mess with that. The back of the neck, all the way across from, the headstock, all down the heel was just coming off in chunks. And so I sanded that down as best as, clean as I could, and then just did tons and tons of drop fills. And then smoothing it out and drop fills and smoothing it out until it was, pretty damn smooth. And then I colored it, shot some color on all of it, across, back here and over here. And then I cleared it. And it's like I say, it's not perfect because the guitar's not perfect. It would look out of place if I made it look new. So I kind of brought everything that I did like that finish-wise back to like a 7, because opposed on a new guitar. There's some spots in it that aren't perfect, and it looks better with the guitar as a whole. The heel cap. It was obviously, they get kind of warped and come off, and they shrink because from the shrinkage of it. So I pulled it off, and since I shot color over the edge that you wouldn't really see it. So, and I thought making a new cap would look just kind of dumb, like it wasn't my thing. I'm like, I can make this work. So I pulled it off, I heated it up, clamped it down, and flattened it out quite a bit. And then I sanded the rest flat, and then I just glued it back on, and it looks cool because it's all the great color, and it looks worn it's the original one, so I just made it work. Let's see what else. I did all new binding across this side of the neck. It had like 4 or 5 pieces. The other one that was coming off. So, and that got I put color on that so it looks fitting. I even scraped it a couple places and little lines just so it looks with the guitar. It looks like an old piece of binding. And then I shot color, just a little bit of clear over it to, make it sit in properly. The peg head. The peg head had other finish pieces, like all the way down to the veneer. It just really deep, and they were coming apart all around, you know, the tuners and everything. So I did, once again, drop fill, sand, drop fill, and, you know, even at the best I could, and while not making it perfect, but good. And then I shot lots of clear over it, not lots, but enough to so it's really stable now for a long time. A lot of the cool color across the logo and the inlay, you know, the ambered color was coming off, so you had like new look against the ambered look. So I mixed some color and filled it all in, so it's all the same color across all of that. And before I did the clear, which it just looks way better. The back of the peg head got redone too. It's not perfect. There's some lines and some little dents and some things in it, but it's obviously way better. And I sanded it all back to where it looks appropriate. Like you can still see some of the checking in spots and things on the peg head. So it looks right with the guitar. The fretboard was pretty hammered, just from dried out and big, heavy, deep crevices in it, and just from playing. And you know, over the years, I leveled that out the best I could. I got rid of the majority of it. There's still some deep spots in some of the frets. Nothing crazy, but there are some spots there. And you just can't take it any further than that with the inlays and all. It's there. Just don't take it too far. You're looking for trouble. And it's got new frets that are appropriate size. It plays really, really well. It sounds fantastic, even for, I like these guitars just as much, you know, for jazz stuff as I do like cowboy chords. Like that sounds amazing to me. You know, like they just sound great. It's old dried wood. It's wonderful. The tuners got pulled out and cleaned real well. They're a little tight just because they're old. So they hold tune fine, but they don't turn and smooth like a perfect new tuner because they're super old. Imagine that. And that's what I did to this. It's had a bit of work done to it, but it's really come back to life, I think, and without restoring it to something. It just, to me, I'm not into that. It doesn't look right to me. Like, let it be old and just keep it from going any further, and get it back into a player's hands, you know, that appreciates it. And it's just stunning to me. But that's the deal. That's what I did, and it's for sale. The owner told me, he said, hey, you know what? Let's put that one up for sale. Oh, also too, one more thing. The nut. I put a new nut on it because I put new frets. I kind of went, just for my own fun sake, went crazy with the nut and almost matched the original one. I think it was old as the hills. So I kind of shaped it the same way. I literally stained it and dipped it in stuff just to kind of make it look like the old one because it looked so great with the guitar. The color was so cool. So that's what I did. So it looks like an old nut, but it's a new nut. And that's just me having a little bit of fun and trying to make things look all appropriate, you know. But that's what got done. I hope you dig it. It was really cool to do it. I always enjoy working on these kind of things because, man, they're history. This is history here. Anywho, have a good day.